everybody. This is Archana Shaktawat. I'm a clinical and a counseling psychologist and an inner personality enhancement trainer. And I'm live in my series, knowledge series, and today I have a very interesting topic. And the topic is how your childhood shapes and breaks your adulthood. And with me, I'm going to have Anish, who is an expert in this field. He's an expert with inner child, and we're going to discuss as to how our childhood impacts our adulthood. Now, so the topic today is very interesting, very close to my heart, because as a psychologist I know that all our childhood experiences is what makes our belief system. Our belief system leads into our thoughts, and that's what leads to our behaviors. So everything that we do and we are today is an extension of our childhood. So there are a lot of occasions where you would have if you've had a tough childhood, there's a possibility, say for example, you come in from a very strict environment, then you'll always be craving for freedom, and you'll always hop onto the first opportunity that you get to move out of the house. But then it also has its drawbacks, is for you to develop attachments with anybody, because you always feel that anybody who gets close to you is going to have control over you, is why you do not end up in very steady relationships. So, a lot of instances like this are there which prove that our childhood is what shapes us and breaks us. Because, if I ask any one of you any question about your happiest memories, you will immediately think of your childhood. You'll think of the wonderful memories that you have of your school. Even in terms of best friends, most of our best friends date back to our childhood, right? So, anything good we associate with childhood. So, that's the relevance of childhood in in our adulthood, and eventually even in our... Please click on that. Oh, perfect. So we have Anish with us. Yay! Finally we did it.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't think we will go back again and log out. I think now that you're in, let's stay in. So for all the viewers who have joined us, a big hi to you once again. Thank you so much for taking our time on the 6th day of Navratri at 7 p.m. So I really appreciate you taking our time. For us, means a lot to both of us. So I'm Archana Shaktawat. Hi. I'm a clinical and a counseling psychologist and an inner personality enhancement trainer. And I have started an Instagram live, which I'm going to do very often, because I know a lot of you wanted me to do that. So this knowledge series is going to go on maybe on a Wednesday or a Saturday, depending upon whenever I meet the right person and the right topic, I'm going to go live. But you will be informed prior. So today, in our first knowledge series, a topic that I have chosen close to my heart, and with me I have another person to whom this topic means a lot. It is about how our childhood impacts our adulthood. In a way, it shapes and breaks our adulthood. So as a psychologist, if I ask any one of you, all those who joined to us, a big hi once again, if I ask you this question, which are the happiest moments of your life? I'm sure most of you will answer your childhood days, right? Be it the great times that you had in school, maybe how you played in the playground, or you never cared about how you looked, right? And if any one of you even got a time machine, most of you would want to go back into your childhood. Now, that's the beauty of childhood. In other words, it means that it stays with you for the longest time, right? All these experiences that we have in our childhood is what leads to our belief system. And sometimes this belief system makes us climb Mount Everest, and sometimes this belief system controls us and limits us from even stepping out of the house, right? So that is the impact that our childhood experiences have. And we're going to take this discussion forward. But, just to give you a very simple example as to how our childhood experiences impact us, let me give you an example of this very basic emotion of fear. So when a child is born, he's born with only two fears: the fear of loud sounds and the fear of falling. These are the only two innate fears we are born with. But as we grow old, our childhood experiences till the time we are at whatever age, our fears manifold. So you need to understand that most of our fears are childhood fears, and maybe it's not even something that we have experienced. We've probably heard it from people. वहां मत जाओ, वहां वैसा है, वहां भूत है, इमली का पेड़ है, and we developed a fear with people का पेड़ and इमली का पेड़. This is how our childhood impacts us. And somebody who is actually in the medical field would agree with me that even with Alzheimer's, if somebody has Alzheimer's, he doesn't remember something immediately or adulthood, but that person has very clear memory of his or her childhood. So childhood stays with us. Sometimes we have positive childhood experiences, which is called PSCs in psychology. And then sometimes we have adverse childhood experiences called ACE. Both these impact us in ways that we don't even know of. Sometimes certain trauma, it could be abuse, it could be, the parenting style that we had impacts our adulthood. And for that, how it impacts us, how it hurts us, how it damages us in our adulthood, I have an expert with me. Hi, Anish. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you.
So much. Thanks a lot.
So, Anish, I would want you to be a little louder. I can't hear you too well.
Okay, just a moment. Is it better now? Can you hear me loud?
Yeah, it is better. Okay, great. So before we go on, firstly, Anish is an expert in inner child healing. He is an NLP practitioner and he's got so many credentials to it. So Anish, quickly, I don't want to praise you, but I know there are so many credentials to you. So I quickly want you to introduce yourself and let our audience know as to why we are discussing this today.
First of all, Archana, thank you so much for having me here. It's a real honor and pleasure. Well, as you have said, I'm Anish, guys. Well, 2012, something great happened in my life. I started questioning, my own belief system. I was somebody, who would be, taken as that this guy is a great motivator and he talks well and he can do wonders and stuff like that. And yet, at the same time, I know my inside story was completely different. There was no congruence happening. It's as though I was wearing a mask and I would show people that I really wanted them to see, and I would hide that part of me that I even couldn't understand. And that took me on a journey. And in that journey, I was very blessed, I would say that, I had 4 spiritual masters that I was with, been to Dharamshala, Goa, been in all these places, NLP mastership, did a lot of stuff. And then I realized, oh God, this is not a small thing, it's a big, big thing, guys. Guys, Hindi mein na aajkal kehte hain ki bhai, just understand, it's only because of the hurt child syndrome in us that the whole industry is thriving. And which industry? आप देखिए, there is a cliche also. हम क्या कहते हैं, भाई इसको दवा दारू की जरूरत है, इसकी दवा दारू करो. Just imagine, दारू industry is flourishing, dawa industry is flourishing. And we are, what is happening to us? If you look at India today or the world over scenario, mental health has gone for a toss.
Absolutely.
We cannot really stay with our own selves. We are into great escapism right now. We cannot really spend time with ourselves. We get into that kind of mistake. अपने साथ हम समय बिताना ही नहीं चाहते. That's why you will see, if you're alone for a moment, you will immediately fumble through your mobile. Chalo, let me see.
You get irritated as to why am I alone? I cannot be alone.
Absolutely, because there is this inner voice that is seeking attention, and that is the voice that you do not really want to attend to, because this voice has very deep, dark roots that trace back to our own parents. And we are taught that mother ke paon mein jannat hai, mother is the heaven, father is, we worship parents, and they do whatever they have done best. I'm not trying to, in all my years of practice, what I've realized is parents were never trained to actually, go into something like this. It's a biological process. Even animals are capable to produce kids. It's not a big science out there, right? The whole universe is reproducing. Every apple carries a seed, a mango carries a seed. So do we. But when you talk about human consciousness, it's not about just giving a birth to a child. It's about raising a child. And mind you, raising a child is not about raising a child. It's about raising a parent.
Absolutely. So beautifully said, Anish.
Parent gets raised.
Mm. Actually,
There's a lot of work.
parenting is not, I feel parenting is taken as a one generation job. It's not a one generation job. You pass it on.
Yes.
You pass it on. Like if you come from a very micromanaged or an overprotected environment, that child will end up being clingy, will always expect a lot from others and wouldn't want to put in 100% in anything. He may pass on the same thing on to the next child. So somewhere you need to put that break, right?
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely.
So I have this question to you, Anish. Probably people don't even understand, like I'm an inner personality enhancement trainer. People don't understand this word inner at all. Is why mental health issues are so high, because we don't want to internalize anything, right? So if you could give us an idea as to what is the inner child healing or the, inner hurt child healing that you work on, if you could give a, because, a lot of us have joined us today and I really want them to know it's so important it is to, at least listen to that child inside you, listen to that voice. So yeah, Anish, over to you if you could tell me that.
All right. I'll try to keep it very simple. We all are born with a program, something that we take as a model. For example, if I ask Archana right now, or our viewers, or in myself, if I see a cockroach, how many of us will take that cockroach and put into our mouth? Yeah, yeah. What is he talking about, right? Oh my God. Yes. Now, what all these behaviors have come up, from where these behaviors are coming. If you see a small child, 2 or 3 years, you'll be shocked. They will just take a cockroach like this, and absolutely right. They will just gulp it down, chew the bloody cockroach, man.
Yeah.
I think most of the mothers can relate to it, that the child has all kind of things in his or her mouth, as a children, be it anything. I mean, right from, oh my God, I don't want to say. I mean, what can be gross than a cockroach, right? But we don't do that. So, because as we grow up, we understand there is an inner thing as an experience. This is bad. I don't have to do it. And so much so that I will puke. I mean, I know of cases wherein somebody who was a vegetarian was by mistake served a non-vegetarian food. It happened with me, by the way. We were in Mumbai in a hotel. I won't name the hotel. But, we had a great meal, and I had one Mr. Sharmaji with me. And this guy really enjoyed the meal. And he told me, Anish, मजा आ गया यार, आज तो मजा ही आ गया यार. And जब हम उठने लगे, तो when I was signing the bill, he insisted नहीं मैं भी पे करूँगा या आधा मैं दूँगा. मैं कहा नहीं सर, leave it शर्मा जी, I'll do it. And he just saw the bill and he was like, ये बटर मसाला चिकन, ये पनीर नहीं है, पनीर का है. So the fellow who was serving us, very nice guy, he said, sir पनीर तो हमने दिया ही नहीं. अनीश सर तो यहाँ पे आते रहते, इनकी फेवरेट है. The moment Archana said, but see, the same guy who was enjoying that lovely dish had a heart of me. Just the moment he heard this, he was like, he went to the bathroom, he puked, and in fact, he did not speak to me for next 30 days. He blamed me for this. Imagine, if you look at it, what has happened here? Our present behavior comes from completely the past. I'll make it more simple to understand. You see, you are what is a girl tool? Good girl, good boy syndrome. Good girls do this, good boys do that. You go back to Titanic and you see Kate Winslet, the Rose. How there's certain order how you have to sit, walk, eat. You cannot, you cannot chew and you cannot make sound and stuff like that. There are so many do's and don'ts, right? So this good boy and good girl syndrome has killed the very essence of an inner child, the innocence in us. And we are born with these pre-installed needs. They are already in us. They can be subdued to a certain level because as kids, we are not resourceful. We are dependent on our parents for our survival. So our survival mechanism is only one, just go and hug them. And they use this as an interesting blackmailing strategy. Like, okay, if you don't do this, to Baba aa jayega, Mama will not hug you. Okay, John, I will not talk to you. Bloody small child. Okay, Mama, no, whatever you want me to do, I will do it for you.
Correct.
The problem is the child is.
You make the child a people's pleaser. This is how I think the people's pleaser attitude starts.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at it remember when we were kids and somebody coming to our place, the first thing is, "Beta, twinkle, twinkle now, twinkle, twinkle, little star, Mary had a little lamb." I know, taliyan baj rahi hai.
Correct. You're appreciated.
Absolutely. And then again, one more game. First, we are taught to walk. First, we are taught to talk. And we are appreciated for that. And the moment we are put into school, we are told, "No talking, please." The child is completely in a spin.
Confusion.
The child is looking at you like, "Hey guys, what do you want from me?"
Correct.
Talking or not talking. And that is where the whole chaos starts. Now coming back to good boy and good girl syndrome. In order to be a good boy or a good girl, we have a tendency to put mask. We say personality. Now personality basically comes from a Greek word called persona.
Absolutely. Which means the mask.
It's very interesting. In old Greece, what used to happen when they used to have this play, they would, have a mask on a piece of pencil or something like that.
And then
the same guy would play a king, and then, "Hey, I am the Caesar," and hold on. And the same guy would play the queen as well. "Hi, my lord." And they would put the mask down and go back home. Just imagine if one day the actor would take his mask and he forgot to put it down, and he goes to his house and he tells his wife, "Caesar has come, lay down a good meal for me, else you will be, hanged." Imagine his plight. And
so
that's
true.
sadly happening to all of us.
Absolutely.
We all don't know what is our real face. We are just pretending, putting on masks, trying to please people, trying to look for something, yet deeply, all of us somewhere know that something is missing. You at times feel that I'll have a big house, I'll have a big car, I'll have big this, big that, and things will change for me. And finally we get to hear that guy with 100 CR and 5,000 CR has committed suicide. So the good girl or a good boy syndrome is a very, very big syndrome because we somehow try to put ourselves down. We don't get really connected with the source of energy, the prana energy that's with us. And now comes the bigger dangerous thing. Let us say if this is a line and this is the center, the balance, and this is the good boy and good girl syndrome. On the opposite, this is a rebel boy and a rebel girl syndrome.
Correct.
This is too scary.
One day going to break.
Yeah, it is. Well, if you see today what happens, till this time, good boy, good girl, but something snaps sometimes. And when something snaps, you are like, to hell with people, screw everybody, I'm gonna go in substance abuse, I'm gonna go into multi-relationships, I will do everything that was told to me to be good, because good has not served me. Let me try the very opposite of the same. And whether you are in a rebel mode of substance abuse or, it's not only substance abuse. There are many kinds of self-abuses that we keep on doing. All right? But the point is, this is always like this.
Absolutely. Correct.
So you are never in, these days the word called grounding, harmony, balance, very beautiful words to hear. But rarely they are found in people. Why? This is
correct. These are those theoretical words which you love to hear, but in reality, they don't exist. Yeah, so exactly. True on that. So I had a question to this. That all of this somewhere. I think probably when you reach in your 30s, you do understand that it can be earlier as well if you're lucky enough, if you're self-aware, and when you attend workshops or if you meet a psychologist or an expert like you, is when you start unfolding this that, oh, you know what, my anger issues dates back to my childhood because I was told then to suppress everything around me. Right? And then one fine day, like you said, there's something that happens and you become aggressive, and parenting, unfortunately, so no offense, parents do a wonderful job, but you sometimes need to realize that parenting is not a job. It's not a 9 to 6 job, and after 6 meri chutti ho gayi. It is something that you have to perform with responsibility. So nothing against parents, but the more aware you are, you can obviously work towards better childhood. So the question that I asked Anish was this, that how do we really understand that this inner child is really trying to tell us something. What do you think should be a way to at least listen to the inner child? Maybe working on it, you obviously need an expert, you need help. But how do you even understand this? Are there some signs? Are there some things that maybe may help you understand that this whole thing is very childhood rooted?
Absolutely. In fact, before we go further, come here. My son would like to say hi to all of you. He's 11 years old. Yeah.
I can see.
So
Hi.
he's pretty much there, and why I wanted him to actually come and have people look at it. This is intelligence. He is somehow my mentor. He's been my mentor since the time he was born, especially I think after 4 or 5 years. Because I learned a very interesting thing, which was that he has come through me, but he doesn't belong to me. I can't say this is my cup, this is my car, this is my specs, this is my mobile, and this is my son. I can't possess. He is a soul, yeah. So this possessing thing is very big. Because I'll tell you, see what happens now. To answer the question, first of all, we need to really understand. All right, in Three Idiots, we had this Farhan who wanted to be a photographer, and his father wanted him to do IIT, and Salman Khan, Amir Khan, the rancho, he kind of convinces, and now his father feels he's doing a great thing for Farhan by making him an IIT, great guy and stuff like that. This fellow tells his father, Papa, even if I become a great engineer, I will not become a good engineer. I don't want to really get into it. Now, this is something that needs to be understood by all. His parent, his father might have seen, a lack of money, poverty. So for him, having money, having security was the biggest value in his life. All right. But when situation changed, the same value may not be for your son. He doesn't belong to us. He's coming with the different programming. But as a father, extra protective father, I'm like, no, if he gets a good job, if he gets sense of security, he will not be in poverty, he will be happy. If that were to be true, then every rich guy would have been happy.
Yeah.
Majority
happiness itself is so subjective. It's so subjective and objective, both subjective and objective.
Absolutely. It's such a vast topic. I think the more one wants to delve into it.
That's why we're going to have another episode. So for all those who are with us today, we are just getting into the tip of the iceberg. There is that whole big thing deep underneath. We're just trying to unfold this concept because the fact that our adulthood is an extension of our childhood itself is so difficult to digest. So there are times wherein during my sessions when I ask, as a psychotherapist, we go into your childhood, they say, nahi ma'am, wo to 20 saal pehle hua tha. I know they make this face also. 20 saal pehle ki baat hai, And even then they vividly remember it. So when you vividly remember something, how can it be 20 saal, So that is how it is. Yes, Anish, sorry, since we have few more people who have joined us, I thought I'll share it with them. Yeah. Yes, go ahead. Sorry. So what are some of those warning signs that can help us understand that our inner child was hurt?
I'll tell you very simply. If you or any person is feeling really, these things like guilt, shame, anxiety, panic, depression, certain sense of uneasiness,
Insecurity,
good times. Yes, yes. In fact,
self-doubt.
I'll just to make it easy for people to understand. Let us say there is a dead rat in our house, and the house starts stinking. It's stinking bad. And what we tend to do is, all right, let's do one thing. Let's get a nice deodorant, and we are like, shh. Now my question is, does that take care of the smell? Maybe temporarily for some time, but does that take care of the smell? No. So what are we trying to do? We are trying to treat the symptom, the smell, not the root. Secondly, some people are like, "Arey, it's not really taking care of itself. अगर नहीं हो रहा तो चलो let's go to Lonavala or maybe Khandala for 5 days. When we'll come back, things will be taken care of. But after 5 days, we come back and it even stinks more."
Correct.
And we're like, yes. And some smart fellow, it's kind of an escape route. Let's try to
Yeah,
escape.
exactly, absolutely.
Some smart fellow says, "All right, guys, from today, everybody has his own deodorant. If anybody is really pissed off with the stink, take your deodorant and take care of yourself." But does that take care of the issue? The answer is no. Similarly, the same stink, the dead rat is no one, but there are multiple dead rats in our head from our childhood, and together they are producing a huge amount of stink. And that stink we can see in our health, in our relationships, in our bank balances, in our career, in our job, everywhere. That's why there is a sense of uneasiness. There is a sense of disgust. At times, this thought comes to us that I'm disgusted. With whom? I'm disgusted with myself also.
With myself, yeah.
Buddy, if you are disgusted with your own self, there is nowhere to go. Where would you go? If somebody from outside was kind of, telling negative things to me, making me feel bad, I have a choice to say, all right, I have my own boundary. I won't allow the person into my, boundary from now on. But if my own critic, my inner judge, my own, somebody who keeps on judging me all the time, you are not good enough, this was bad, today you have drunk a bit too much, today you lied in the office, lying is a bad thing to do, see, you did not respect him, we have to respect people, you gave money, and that there is so much of inner commentary going on.
Goes on and
on, and that keeps on pestering us, keeping us beating down all the time. And that is, Archana, to answer your question, the biggest indication that your inner child is in complete turmoil. Your inner child is in complete chaos. The only thing as an escape, you can go to Khandala as the dead rat, we spoke about it.
There was a disconnection.
So going to Khandala here in this sense would mean that, you have, since you're not able to really handle this now, so what you choose is as an escape, pop in few pills. It can be sleeping pills, antidepressants, alcohol, shopping, binge watching, anything that takes you away from the real root, because you're just trying to cure the symptom here. That uneasiness, and you want to get out of that uneasiness. But here, Archana, is where the whole thing goes on a topsy-turvy. Once you start alcohol, first 2 pegs were initially able to relieve you, then 4 pegs, then half a bottle, then full bottle, and then the bigger thing starts happening, the regret. Oh my God, I don't want to drink, but without drinking, I can survive also. So, raat ko pee liya, morning mein, shit, again it happens. And that again starts multiplying your guilt. Guilt, yeah. It's a guilt and a shame pattern. So 24/7, we are creating constant guilt and shame for us. My question to all of us here is, if 24/7 we are creating guilt, we are creating shame, we are creating all kind of negative emotions into our inner field, what are our behaviors going to be on the outside? just a reflection of the
Absolutely.
same, isn't it?
And you cannot be unhappy from within and act like, yay, life is so amazing. It doesn't work.
But
A
Archana,
lot
I love
of
you the way
times
it is.
wherein, people think that, I can, like, keep faking it. You cannot fake for too long. It is going to come out. And, like you rightly said, Anish, I think it was so wonderfully put that, if you go into your guilt trips and if you go into your regret phases too often, it is something you got to question yourself. Please do not live in denial. Denial is a phase that only one person can take you out, and that is yourself. There may be people who may be here and there may make you realize, but unless you put in that effort, denial is a comforting zone. It is. रजाई से बाहर ही जिंदगी है, ठंड लगेगी मगर जरूरी है. Right, so do make that effort. So I think it was so nicely told by you, Anish. Anish, I have this question, because I have, I see this in a lot of my clients wherein, I'll take a simpler, because I know this topic is vast, and for you also to concise it, I know it can be so difficult. So there are those traits wherein, as kids, especially if you had a childhood where your parents were fighting for whatever reasons. Okay, so there was this violent domestic behavior. It doesn't have to be physical, but there was verbal fighting between parents. Now, such children end up growing up into a very because see, they don't understand at that phase why it is happening, right? So they think it's because of them. Because when they grew up, they thought parents were fighting, something happened, and they start blaming themselves. And this is where they get into this people's pleaser phase. They want to keep because they always wanted parents to stay good, be cozy, be cuddly, because that's how they saw everybody else do it, right? And they get into these people pleaser modes where they want to keep their boss also happy, their husband also happy, children also happy, super mom achievers. They are the ones who reach into that. I know it's difficult for you. You probably don't even know, what is that person going through. But it's such a situation. If somebody approaches you, how could you help such a person? In
See,
what way?
Archana, the first and the
I know it's
foremost
a
thing
difficult
is,
question, but if you could just concise it.
I think I would say it's a very important question because this is an epidemic right now. And
Yeah.
it's like, we are as investors, we all know compound interest is better than simple interest. But this
बहुत बड़ा हो
problem,
जाता है.
ये multi compounding होती है ये problem. This is a multi compounding. For example, see, I mean, if you look at a small kid, no, his eyes and a deer, एक हिरन की आंखें, they are same, very innocent, very fragile. So whatever blueprint you give them, now these people who have a distorted blueprint of relationship, let us say, because they have seen their parents not really in that. In fact, parents are also very funny at times. They will fight in front of children and make love in the night. The kid gets to see the fight and not the love making. So,
Correct.
he has a very partial view of the entire story. But that partial view creates a complete different map in the head of a child. And such kids really suffer in relating in future. They have this, either they remain aloof or they cut off or they try to put too much effort into pleasing others, and both
Correct.
can lead to burnt out. So you get burnt out. These people, I think, first and foremost, first thing is to understand and be aware. Awareness is the key. All right,
Correct.
this is an issue that I am facing, and then really love yourself, self-love. This issue has nothing to do with me. It is nothing to do with me. It is just like if my phone comes with a software and there's a bug. I won't say, oh my god, the phone is gone. I will just run an antivirus and my phone will be as good as new. So first of all, understand, be aware. Secondly, don't compound it by getting into guilt and shame. There is nothing to be guilty about, to be ashamed about. It was never, ever, ever your fault. It is something, your blank canvas. Somebody came and draw a painting that they like. Somehow today you don't like that painting. All you have to do is first of all understand this painting doesn't belong to you. It's not yours. One. Second, create your own painting, what it is. then there are techniques where you can actually switch the picture. You can simply take off that painting and create your painting and live your life the way you want it to be. And mind you guys, it's our duty to the next generation. Because unfortunately, if we are not doing this now, we will be simply creating future generations with the same kind of syndrome. And if you look at the world today, whole emotional well-being, if you look at emotional well-being, it's gone for a toss. You see all kind of chaos, domestic violence, suicide all-time high, depression, diabetes.
Rape cases, acid attacks, people don't think that these are just criminals. These criminals come out of such backgrounds, such difficult childhoods. Sorry.
Absolutely. In fact, Archana, a small thing. I mean, if I go and if I take a potato from a vegetable vendor, and imagine we have the audacity of telling the potato vendor, भैया ये ठीक है ना, and he always will say, हाँ मैडम ठीक ही है, भैया अगर खराब निकला मैं कल वापस करूँगी. We have the expectation. I'm not saying they're buying an Apple phone or a Nike shoes. I'm saying even a vegetable vendor, we have this expectation that the quality of the potato is going to be good. My question to all of us is, what about the quality?
What about ourselves?
What about the quality that is coming from us to other people? Savari apni, when you board a plane, I think the first announcement is, in apatkalin sthiti mein, the mask will come down. Please help yourself first and then help.
पहले अपने आप को पहनाइए.
आजकल दिक्कत क्या होगी ना, आजकल हर कोई मास्क लेके घूम रहा है लोगों को लगाने के लिए. आओ जी मैं सबको बचाऊंगा, अपना पता नहीं है. It's like, going to a McDonald's and asking, भैया ये मैकडी है? हाँ जी मैकडी है. भैया मेरे को 3 किलो चावल और 5 किलो आटा देना. He will look at you like this, मैडम. और एक किराने वाले के पास जाके आप उसको बोलो, भैया आप ना मेरे को
एक मैकडी का बर्गर दे दो,
पिज्जा दे दो मेरे को, लेकिन थोड़ा सा. Because what I'm trying to hint here is, भैया जिसके पास जो होता है ना वो वही देता है. अगर मैं आपसे कहूँ, मान लीजिए मेरे इस कप में आई एम हैविंग राइट नाउ अ ग्रीन कॉफी, तो अगर मान लो इसको कोई धक्का देगा तो इससे क्या गिरेगा? पानी तो नहीं गिरेगा, ग्रीन कॉफी गिरेगा.
एग्जैक्टली.
इसमें जो है वही गिरेगा. वैसे ही बी अवेयर, आप में से रोज क्या गिर रहा है, लोगों को आपसे क्या मिल रहा है. अगर आपके अंदर से वही सारी बदबू आ रही है जो आपके अंदर के वो डेड रैट्स ने क्रिएट की है, then slowly people will not want to spend time with you because they are carrying their own dead rats.
Yeah, exactly. Correct. So true. So yeah, I think this is a topic that you and I can go on and on about. So I think to all those who've joined us right now, this conversation is not ending because adulthood is one aspect of our life, but childhood is a very important aspect of our life. It shapes us, it breaks us, it molds us, it makes us better, bitter, beautiful, uglier in all aspects. Now, this has got nothing to do with, oh, it went so wrong, now it cannot change. It can change. Please believe in the power of change and healing. Yes, for some unfortunate reasons, something didn't work out in your childhood. That doesn't mean it cannot change today. It can. And with the help of experts like Anish and even me as a psychotherapist, please seek help. Don't suffer in silence and don't live in denial. I know a lot of my own clients, and I'm sure Anish, you've also met people who say, "मैं तो बस ऐसा ही हूँ," and they say it with full honesty and arrogance. And now this again is a sign that somewhere at some age something happened. Your inner child was so severely hurt that now you feel living in a denial is much easier. Because remember, your brain will do everything possible to make life easy for you. It just doesn't like hard work. Okay, remember that. So if you are working hard, remember there is change happening. So even when you meet Anish, an expert in inner child, or you meet a psychotherapist like me, we are going to ask you uncomfortable questions. We may get into your subconscious mind and we will take you back down the memory lane. It will be uncomfortable. You won't feel good about it. but that's where change is happening. So please seek help. So now we are not ending this conversation here. So now you know what is inner child healing, right? This helps you speak to your inner childhood, go to that voice, that inner voice which is trying to tell you something. Signs are that, if you're irritable, if you have guilt trips, if you have anger issues and they're persistent, then it's time that for you to understand that your inner child was hurt at some stage, and please seek help. Now we are going to continue this conversation again on Wednesday, wherein yes, Anish, sorry.
One thing, just for my
Absolutely.
lovely listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah, friends, we all live on a timeline. When Archana started, she told you very beautifully. This did this happen to you? Yeah, 10 years ago. How do you know 10 years ago? Because in your mind you have a timeline that has a reference point. Now, people who are in denial somehow, and you see, there are only three things that can make us unhappy: your past, your present, or your future. Past is somewhere this thing is coming, and we can see it all over. That something missing and irritating or whatever it is. Then comes present. Now, many of us are in this illusion that we actually live in present. I would want you all to contemplate on one thing today. Are you actually living in present? Because present is present, which is a gift. But at the same time, if you put a small hyphen, pre and then hyphen and then sent, it also means present. So your present, usually 80 to 90% is something which is present. Your overweight is not something that has happened today in present moment. It's something which is present. The choices that you made with your career or business shows what is happening in your present life with respect to your money. The choices you made and the behaviors you executed in past are showing your relationships today. And the biggest relationship is not the relationship with others. The first and the primary relationship is with relationship with self. Now coming to future, हम क्या कहते हैं कि भाई चलो यार पास्ट में जो भी हो गया, प्रेजेंट जो भी है, बट फ्यूचर मेरे से कोई नहीं छीन सकता. Nobody can take my future from me. But the blunder happens when we lose our hope in our future also. And most of us are losing it. Why I shared, as Archana rightly said, when people say, मैं तो ऐसा ही हूँ, मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, they are at a very tipping point because now they have started losing the hope about future also. And once a future hope is lost, our subconscious simply takes exit, direct and indirect. Direct exit is an impulse and maybe a suicide. Indirect is creating an autoimmune disorder in you, maybe a cancer, maybe any terminal illness or something like that. So इसको हल्के में मत लो यार. You guys are precious, life is beautiful, and you can be actually rewired to your old essence, to being that lovely child, and we can rewrite everything, right? So I think that's enough for today. I think that now over to Archana.
Great, thank you. It was so nicely said, Anish. So wonderfully explained with that pencil. I think we just got that so right, and also the present, present. So wonderful. Thank you so much. So, so like I said, we are not ending this here. It's a topic that I think needs to be talked about because everything that you hide under the carpet is actually not helpful. Even your childhood has been hidden under the carpet, and it's good to talk about it because talking leads to awareness leads to acceptance, and acceptance leads to change. This is how that cycle of change happens. Okay, so that's why we're not going to end this conversation here. On Wednesday, when we go live, I would love to have questions coming in from you. Maybe you can ask us. You can post it onto my handle, Archana Shaktawat, or you can also text it or DM it to Anish, Coach Anish Kota. Maybe if you can share it once again, Anish, with us. I'll have Anish share his handle once again with you. Share your questions. Yes, Anish, go ahead. If you can share your handle so that people can reach out to you.
I was just saying my name is ANEESH and KOTHA. It's a unique name, especially my caste Kota. So you can very easily find me on Insta, Coach Anish Kota. I would love to really answer your questions, and it's always great. I have really, the kind of father I was to my daughter was complete. My daughter is 17 years old, going to be 18. I have a son who you guys just saw, 11 years old. I have been a completely different father to both of them. I would say a more wise and a more aware parent to my son, because I also was going through my personal transformation. And the transformation, guys, is a never ending process. I'm still working on myself, and a little bit of work every day was a great magic awaits all of us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So yes, so in our next session, we're going to get deeper and dig deeper into your inner child and take up cases as well. So if anybody wants to join us live there and ask us in person something you have me, you have a niche, we would love to take it up. If you want to go anonymous, you don't want people to know about it, which I understand, and that's completely fine. You can DM us your questions. Once again, this has been my motto, and this is what I want to work on. Please don't suffer in silence, because there was a time wherein asking for help, even if you did, it wasn't available. But today, that's not the case. When scenarios have changed, when you ask for help, you will get a lot of help, right? Don't hesitate. Please open up, because you need to understand that this inner child or your childhood experiences is going to make your adulthood. And the way you are in your adulthood is going to affect your next generation. So what you've been through is unfortunate. I know it shouldn't have happened, but for whatever reasons it did, it did. But don't let it affect your present, and most importantly, your next generation. Speak, hear your inner child. Your child is trying to tell you a lot of things. So be matured enough to do that. And thank you once again for joining us. We're going to go live again on Wednesday. Please post in your questions. If you want to come live, do that. This is Archana Shaktawat signing off. And Anish, if you could also wave to all our viewers.
Signing off. Love you guys.
Thank you so much for taking our time, Anish. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.